Let's talk about the person that we are most excited to watch here down the stretch, the most intriguing QB, if you will, Peter.
We're talking about a team that has 5 straight wins, and when we show the graphic for the playoffs, still isn't even in the hunt. Like, there's too many teams that are still above them, but they're stacking wins, and their quarterback is playing efficiently. I'm going to go Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins. I find them fascinating, and I find him personally fascinating. This guy wins games. He does what he has to do to win games, and they are winning a lot of them. 5 straight. He completed 30 passes yesterday, but had less than 300 yards. It's like this offense is a lot of Tua, just don't kill us, and don't make a mistake, and he hasn't. Can you win that way? You sure can. And here's Tua, 5 straight wins, and amidst all the Deshaun Watson stuff earlier in the season, and they're back in the playoff mix. And he gets this win, and you're like, all right, everyone's going to crown Tua. They asked Logan Ryan after the game, hey, if you had to come in as an emergency quarterback, how would you have handled it because of all the injuries to the Giants quarterbacks? Here was Logan's quote. I'm a lot like Tua. I can throw 2-yard passes to the left. Still getting the shade. Still getting. After beating them 20-9, Tua still has to hear it. There's no respect around the league for Tua. And it might be because of his arm strength, might be because he's left-handed, it might be because of his demeanor, where he's just kind of like, You know, Carissa Thompson did a sit-down with Tua yesterday for the Fox pregame show. And then afterwards, she was asked, like, you know, what's he like? She's like, and that might actually work in his advantage. For all the criticism and all the hate Tua takes, he lives in this tunnel where he's like, I don't even care. I'm worried about the next game. They've won 5 straight games. Dolphins fans wouldn't want to have it any other way. Tua Tagovailoa. I am fascinated how he finishes the season and what these Miami Dolphins do.
Well, and they got the Jets coming up. Then they got New Orleans, who's lost 5 in a row. I mean, they could reel off 7, 8 straight games. I mean, but I also understand what everybody's saying, is that you want to see just a little bit more flash from him. Guy I'm looking at is Mac Jones. I mean, here's a team that's sitting at the top of the AFC. I mean, beginning of the year, they're 2-4, and you're like, you know, he's playing all right. Now he's got them at the top of the AFC. But come playoff time, I just think you got to see more from your young quarterback. He's got to be a guy that can win games for you. Not saying that he can't. He hasn't had to in the 6-game win streak. But I'm intrigued by him, is that, you know, he drops in the draft and everybody talks about what he can't do. Very much like Tua. All he's doing is going out and winning football games, and he's got that team believing. So he's the guy that I got my eye on with them having the #1 seed. Starts tonight against Buffalo in that big matchup, but I want to see what he is down the stretch.
Tua and Mac, guys who are not being asked to do a ton. I got a guy who's being asked to do everything. Lamar Jackson's having a really strange stretch to his career. 3-3 over the last 6, 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's sacked a career-high 7 times yesterday, and I wonder if it's finally like, I'm not that powerful. I can't just beat everybody. The interceptions are a little bit weird because they're really ugly. And I thought there was something interesting that someone made a meme, and it was this picture of Lamar just chucking it, and it said, bleep it, Mark Andrews out there somewhere, which is kind of funny, but Lamar retweeted it and laughed and like it's kind of like he was in on the joke. That's what this is. This is that meme come to life. If you're in trouble, just throw it to Mark Andrews, throw it up a jump ball. This is not the only one. He's had a few really ugly interceptions to that. So, like, Ravens fans would probably say, well, the offensive line is decimated and the running backs. I understand, and they are. But, again, that's not it. Like, that's not going to beat the Patriots in the playoffs. That's not going to beat anybody. He's on a really bad stretch, throwing a lot of picks, and he doesn't have any help. So I wonder if this team peaked a little early, or if finally just the defense is just, now they lose Humphrey.
So many injuries.
Yeah.
That's a lot of injuries. It's a lot.
That's to Harbaugh and the coaching that they were like playing above their weight for a while, and then then Marlon Humphrey kind of sunk them. I think maybe they did better than they should given the injuries.
But I always think it's interesting because we've said the same about Patrick Mahomes early in the year, is that you've been special every time you step on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not special right now. Lamar, you've been special for so long. You're not special. Stop being special. Stop trying to do those things that you've done for 2 years that's made you the MVP, that's made us this team. And that is the tough dilemma. Do you just say, we're going to keep swinging, and if it doesn't work this year, it'll work next year because you're that good? Or do you say, we got to pull back, we got to play a different way? It's just a tough dynamic for those two guys and where they're at right now.
Do you know who I think is special?
Who's that?
Kyler Murray.
He's special.
You can say what you want about the Cardinals, whether or not you trust them, whether or not you think they'll be there when all is said and done, but you cannot tell me that this is not the most exciting quarterback in football right now. He was back yesterday. He was gone a month. It's in Chicago. The weather was crappy. They leaned on their run game more than they have really all season, and he still threw 4 touchdowns.
His legs. This is what makes him different.
Oh,
He makes
man.
it look so easy.
I know.
I
4
mean, he's
total
such
touchdowns.
a gifted thrower on top. I mean, it's fun to watch.
So he faded down the stretch a little bit last year, but he's healthy now. He looked very healthy yesterday, and now they just have to fend off the Packers for that 1 seed. And I think he's got a real chance to make a statement these next couple of weeks. Is he out of the MVP discussion? He missed a month, but he's still 8-1 as a starter. He still has the same amount of touchdowns as Dak Prescott. I think a couple fewer than Mahomes, a couple fewer than Aaron Rodgers. He's still very much in the mix there. They've got big games coming up, bright light games. He can make a statement. The Rams next Monday night, they face the Colts down the stretch. Those are really big. And then week 17, that game's in Dallas against the Cowboys. So I don't know. Completion percentage, passer rating, all of it looks good. The numbers are good. Make a statement and make people believe in the Cardinals.